What is good people? So I don't normally do these little talks like this with me in front of the camera, but I've been arguing with people all day on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube and the comments and videos, and I'm just it's a simple statement I'm gonna make, and I'm gonna back that statement up with facts, right? So it's real simple. First off, any car can be fast. That's not a hard statement to make. Any car that exists today can be fast. Anything that has wheels on it can be fast. People get so worked up over these debates about what car is faster, what car is a better platform to start with, what car should you build, what's the best project car, what is this, what is that. And it's just so ridiculous how angry people get and defensive they get when you don't rock with what they build, right? Or what they believe, right? So there's a million Dodge haters, right? I originally come from the Honda community, and everybody in the Honda community hates, not necessarily all of them hate, but a lot of people in the Honda community hate muscle cars, right? Because they're just big. To them, they're big, heavy, and to get that much weight to move, you got to have massive amount of power, right? Whereas a Integra or a 90s, basically most Honda guys are 90s Honda fans, right? And all the 90s Hondas, pretty much outside of like the Prelude and some of these other cars, all weigh under 2,500 pounds. That are the ones that they built, like the EK hatch, EG hatch, DC2 Integras, DC4 Integras. Hell, the DB Integras don't weigh that much. The CRXs, the 80s CRXs, the first gen, the second gen. Like I said, all these, even the Civic Coupe HX, which is like one of the lightest models that came with an engine that nobody really knows about that much, but it's like the D16Y5 or something that you get like 30, like almost 40 miles per gallon on this little Civic single cam. But anyway, those cars don't weigh anything. They weigh under 2,500 pounds. So the people that drive those kind of cars typically don't fuck with the 2,500 and up cars, right? They're 2,800 pounds. Oh, your car is 3,200 pounds. That shit is heavy, man. And then vice versa. So then you have the people that I talk to now, because I have a Challenger, right? I've had Mustangs, I've had other cars that are in the 3,500 pound range, right? So now that I have a Challenger, mind you, like I said, I'm a tall dude, I'm a big guy. So a car, it's comfortable now. I'm getting older, man. It's the comfortability of these big cars are unbeatable, and the comfortability of when your girl gets in the car, when your kid gets in the car, it's unbeatable, right? I can't drive my pregnant girlfriend around in a 1996 GSR Integra with a K24 swap. Can't do that really. So, if I want to have fun on a daily basis, I have to a Challenger, Charger, my truck. Those are the cars I have to drive, right? But I'm still me. I'm me. I want to have a race car, and I love muscle cars. Just because I love Hondas and Japanese cars doesn't mean I don't like muscle cars. So you get, right, those people who be like, oh, well, Hondas are cheap cars. Hondas are this. You get all that, right? And they're not. Hondas are not cheap cars to build. No car is cheap to build. They don't exist. No car is cheap to make fast. There are certain cars that are cheaper than others because of the availability of the parts, right? So Chevys are cheaper to build than Hondas are. But the cars themselves are more expensive than the Honda cars, right? So you can't get, let's say you can get a EK Coupe that weighs under 2,400 pounds. You can get an EK Coupe for $1,200, single cam, automatic, you can get one for under $1,500 all day still, and turn that bitch into a 10-second car pretty quickly. Same thing with, you know, like an EG hatch. They're getting up there now. You can get one. You can get maybe a decent running automatic for 2,500, maybe. You know, they're still out there a dime a dozen. You know, EG hatches are still out there a dime a dozen. Certain cars are becoming more rare. CRXs are becoming more rare. They're becoming more expensive. Even Acura Integras, which are a dime a dozen still to me, but they're becoming more expensive. A 5-speed Acura Integra non-VTEC dual red cam, those are like $5,000 now. You know, $4,000 for a beat up one, $3,000 for the one that doesn't run. You know, so Acura Integras are crazy. Like I said, my K swap is it's a $10,000 car, just how it sits with the K swap. Don't now VTEC. Now you're talking about a car like a GSR, original GSR car. They're going for, you know, $10,000 to $15,000. If you have an original GSR, original motor, all that, they might be $20,000 now. A Type R Integra, they're $20,000, $30,000 now. They're rare. So Hondas are but Hondas are no longer cheap cars. They're just what people like because we have an attachment to them. So I'll always own a Honda. I have an 89 Camaro. So in comparison, you can't buy a 3rd gen Camaro V8 with a V8 in it for under $5,000. They don't have them anymore. They're running. They're not out there no more, really. You might, yeah, okay, you can finagle it and be the lucky guy that gets a deal like I did and get one, right? But it's really rare. It's very rare. So the starting point is more expensive when it comes to Chevys as buying the car than it is Hondas. But modding it is a whole lot, hell of a lot cheaper with Chevys because those V8s are in everything. LS motors are in everything. I see about 20 to 30 Tahoes a day. I see even more. I see Tahoes more than anything, but I see Silverados every single day, old ones. So between Tahoes, Suburbans, Silverados, I rarely see Camaro, old school Camaro SSs. Those are expensive. I don't see WS6 Firebirds on the street anymore. Those are expensive. But you know, I see those V8s, those Chevy V8s driving every day, everywhere. We all do. So that is a cheaper option is when it comes to building power. It really is. So the Chevy people complain about the Dodge people saying, oh, we got this, it's easy to make power, blah, blah, blah. It's cheaper, it's it's right. All right, cool. That's cool, man. That's really cool. But you shouldn't be like just downplaying somebody because they like a Dodge. Like a lot of people like this the new wave of the Hellcat shit that's going on, the Scat Packs and the sound of the Hemis, the comfort, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm 6'2", and my feet with the chair all the way back, I almost have to scoot the chair up just a little bit because my legs are so. It's so much space in this thing that is lovely. This thing has more leg room, lengthwise, than my truck does, and I have a Nissan Titan. There's more leg room than that. My knees are up higher in the Titan than they are in this car, in my Challenger. It's dope. It's the most comfortable thing in the world for me, especially, you know, coming from, I mean, in an Integra. I love my Integra, man. I truly love my Integra, but the seat has to be way back. The back of the seat has to be down, and I have to be, you know, I can't wear shoes in the car in order to drive my Integra. That's because I'm so tall, comparatively speaking, to the normal Integra driver, right? And I just have long legs. So, you know, my decision to drive a Dodge now has been, I caught so much heat for it. Oh, you're going to Dodge. Everybody has a Dodge. Everybody has a 90s Honda. Well, that's not saying much. I know it's looked at like, if you own like an old school car, even an E36 or some of these cars, you're looked at as like a tuner. Like, okay, let me see. When you see somebody driving around in a 90s Honda, with some Inkais on them, or with some what you call it, I don't know, just a good brand of rims, lowered at a certain height, not the hella flush shit, but when you see somebody with the right gap, like, okay, they know what they're doing. That's a tuner right there. He probably built his own car. Yes, you get that. When you see somebody riding around in a Challenger, you like, all right, they just probably bought this car. They don't know what they're doing. You can't always do that though. You can't. I've seen dudes with who bought a Scat Pack, then got forged pistons, got dropping rods and pistons, and made 800 horsepower off of the motherfuckers. So you don't know. I've seen people. There's RT Life online who has a twin turbo charger RT. That started his life off as an RT charger and is now a twin turbo charger that will smoke a Hellcat. But that's dope. That is super dope. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's a wide body RT. Like, he built that himself. That's a dope car. There's a lot of these people out here who are doing things with they're just doing something different. That's all it is. It's a different platform to work with, and it can't be hated. I don't hate on the golf GTI guys, the VW guys out there. You know what I'm saying? When I was younger, I was cool on it because I didn't have that money I didn't have money, $5,000. I wasn't when I was younger. I wasn't as good as a mechanic as I am now. I didn't have the space. So if my transmission went out, I couldn't change it in my front yard. I was at my mom's, so I couldn't change in my front yard. So, yeah, $5,000 for a transmission was in my budget. Sorry. And VWs and Audis and Beamers and stuff, like an E46 or E36 DS, those are a little bit cheaper project cars than some other ones. Than like the E92, the E90s and stuff like that. All those, they're a little bit cheaper, the E46 and the E36, but those are becoming expensive now. E36 coupes ain't cheap no more. They're not cheap. They're not as cheap as they were before. You can get an E36 coupe. BMWs, we all know the resale values on BMWs are horrible. So, but two-door BMWs are no longer cheap cars anymore. You might get lucky and get some lady who's driving a BMW coupe that doesn't know its worth, and it's just like, this is a piece of trash. It's, I rode it till the wheels fall off, and then now selling it for $2,000. You might get lucky and find an E46 coupe now. I had a 330 Ci BMW blue coupe that was a 6-speed, and I wish to God I'd have kept it. I really do. I wish I'd have kept it because, man, that was a good car. The head gasket blew, and I just didn't have time for it. But that was such a good car to have because it's worth a lot of money now. Had M3, full M3 suspension, just didn't have the M3 engine, right? Anyways, my point is that anything can be fast. There's a plethora of different type of cars, and I've had a lot of them. I've seen, like I said, I had a B5 Audi, and those are crazy. The 4-cylinder turbo Audis are nuts. You know what I mean? There's guys out there. My buddy Kyle, who I used to work with in the shop, he has a Audi TT, right? And that car is nuts. It's a nuts car. It's pretty dope. It's all-wheel drive. It's a smaller car. Doesn't have a back seat. I don't think so. But they're small. It's a smaller car, all-wheel drive, and man, did the thing take off. You know what I'm saying? I've seen people when they do forged everything and big turbos on these 4-cylinders. They go, man. They go. We've seen people with B5 Audi 1.8 liter turbos that go. Any car can be fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get the argument, people saying, oh, why'd you get a Challenger, not a Camaro? The Camaros handle better. Fam, I have an Integra. My Integra is that's what that's for. That's what I have that handling for. I was debating between a Challenger, a Mustang, and a Camaro when I bought my Challenger. And the decision came down to, I sat in all three, right? And then I priced everything out. So the Challenger had the most space, the most room, and the fact that the Challenger, I could buy an old Challenger from like 09, which I did, and it still looked like the 2020 ones. And I have the option of making mine look like a 2020 car, but it only costs a fraction of a 2020 price. You know what I'm saying? Like a 2020 RT. Yes, no, I don't have the 8-speed transmission, but I can get one. I can put it in here over time. That's what I like. I do like stuff that I like. I don't like buying the top of the line, whatever, because I like to keep my overhead cost down, which is my monthly cost, just in case shit hits the fan. But I like buying the bottom of the line, whatever it is, and then turn it into the top of the line thing. So buying a Challenger RT is the bottom line V8 in the Challengers, and I could turn it into something that's faster than the Hellcat, and cost a fraction of the Hellcat price. Hellcat red eyes or Hellcats. You know, you use Hellcats are in the 50, 60, in the $60,000 range, and new Hellcat is in the $80,000 and up range. Look, check this out. Somebody give me $20,000 right now for my challenge, and give me just $20,000 cash with what I have now, and I promise you I will smoke a Hellcat. Right? Smoke the shit out of a Hellcat. And that's with an $8,000 car plus 20,000, 28,000. I will smoke a Hellcat. Hell, somebody give me 10,000 right now, and I promise you I will smoke a Hellcat. $5,000 on a supercharger and supercharger accessories, and then let's say 7,000 on that, and then I have $3,000 because I already have a 6.4 motor, dropping pistons, dropping rods, and I promise you I'll beat a Hellcat with just $10,000 than what I have now, right? If somebody just handed me $10,000 and said, hey, build your Challenger up, do it the most you can do with $10,000, and I promise you I can beat a Hellcat. All right, I promise you I can. Hell, the 2,000 you can buy Hellcat superchargers for $2,000. Buy the adapter kits for another $1,500, and dropping pistons and dropping rods, and you're in there. So that's just my thinking when it comes to why I got this car. I just like what Dodge was doing at the moment, you know. And like I said, that and the comfort, sitting in Camaros, sitting in Mustangs, the comfort of the Challenger just outweighed everything. The comfort of it, the sound of it. I like how big it is, and I'm a big guy. It looks better me hopping out of a big vehicle, and just like I said, at the end of the day, I like what Dodge is doing right now. I like how their cars look, the Hellcats. I like the Scat Packs when they come roaring down the street. I like it. You know, I know. You know, I thought about getting a Mustang 5.0. The older ones are like 2012. Cause I'm not buying nothing new. I like I said, I buy stuff cash. For now, because I don't like payments. So, and I don't like modding something that I have a payment on, because if you blow it up and you just have a car sitting in front of your yard for however long while you're making payments on it, you're gonna feel like an asshole. So, excuse me, I don't like doing that. I've done it before with my Mustang, and I got it to be an 11.2 mile car, and it, you know, I ended up getting it taken from me. So that wasn't a good feeling, right? But Mini Coopers can be fast, right? I've been smoked in my Mustang, which was close to 500 horsepower, 500 wheel horsepower in my Mustang with 410 gears, a 9-inch rear end, and a whole boatload of shit, right? I got smoked by a Camry, a yellow Toyota Camry. And he smoked me. I was on the freeway. I dropped it down. I dropped gears. I'm at high RPM. He got next to me. He kept revving, and I heard the blow-off valve. I heard him shh. I was like, oh, okay, he got something in there. Man, that boy took off on me. I was like, all right, it's pretty cool. You never know. You never know. I got smoked. I think I once got smoked. Before I knew Toyota Camrys had that, I think the XSI. Before I knew what those, because I don't pay attention to certain brands, right? Too much, like what they're doing. Like I've always been like, you know, a Honda guy and Chevy and Dodge or whatever. I've been closer to those brands. Nissan, I know a lot about, because you can't be involved in street racing without knowing about what the VQ guys are doing, right? VQ meaning like the 350Z motor, 370Z motor, G35, G37, and now you know, with the Q50S and those cars are getting crazy. Those cars are nuts, you know. But anyway, I got smoked. Yeah, before I knew what a Q50S was, I was driving in my Integra, my K-swap Integra, and and I'm like the man on a certain street, right? In the high desert. You know, I'm smoking everybody. Every night after I would leave work, I would drive down Hesperia Road in the high desert, and it's a long stretch. And I would, every single night after 12, I'd race somebody. Somebody would pull up on the side of me, and I'd smoke them every night. And I think it got, and I know for a fact it got to a point where I got a little name in the high desert for that. And people that knows me, it was just, they knew the green Integra, right? With the JD in front end. And somebody came to my job once, where I'm an armed guard. Somebody came to my job and was like, "Whose green Integra is that outside?" Like, that was mine. He's like, "Man, you smoked me last night. I was in the all-wheel drive G35, or the M35." I'm like, "Oh shit, that was, wow, it was a good race." He's like, "Man, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's gonna be some dudes tonight waiting at that car wash that's on Hesperia Road, and they're gonna, as soon as you fly by, they're gonna," right? So I slowed down when I went to the car wash, and sure enough, a 350Z pulled out, smoked them. And then the next day, I'm driving down the same road, and I thought it was just an Infinity, and I just see the Infinity. I'm not really paying attention. Like I'm not up on the 3.3 liter turbos and all. I don't know about none of these cars yet. So I get up next, I see one at the light, and I'm like, oh, and he's like, he looks at me, kind of revs his car a little. I'm like, oh, okay, at the light. Light goes off. I'm spinning. I'm in a front wheel drive car. I'm spinning. We take off, and I don't catch him. Usually, it takes a minute because I'm spinning, but once I catch, I'm gone, right? Not this time. Not this time. He smashed. But like I said, I'm saying all this basically just to say that any car can be modified. Any goddamn car. I've seen 90s Dodge Dakotas with 6.4 liter motors in them. We've all seen S10s with big LS motors in them. Every single car. If somebody, I haven't seen it because I haven't looked it up, but I can guarantee you there's a Hyundai Sonata out there that's fast as shit. I can guarantee you there's I think there was a time, I don't know, I'm sure it was Kia or Honda or Hyundai was using 4G63 blocks. They're using the 4G63 block inside of like the Hondas, or it was Kia or Honda, I forgot which one it was, but one of those companies was using that block, and their engines were pretty much those cars. You know what I'm saying? Even, okay, so I'm gonna go off of one car and just tell you guys something, because this is something people don't know, right? So one of the most hated cars in history was the 3rd gen Eclipse, right? The late 90s, early 2000s Eclipse. It appeared in Too Fast, Too Furious. It was Roman's car in Too Fast, Too Furious, right? So this car had, if you got the 4-cylinder one, you were smart, because it had a 4G63 block. Pretty much the same block, but even a higher, actually a more displacement. I think it was like 2.2 liter, and the 4G63 is regular. I think it's like 2.0. But it had a single overhead cam head. So as people learn, you could take the head from, I think it was the Kia Optima or something, and that was a fucking Evo head. It was an Evo head that you could take and put on the block out of the Eclipse, and turn your car into a front wheel drive Evo. And this is something that is not commonly known among regular people, right? There's a lot of people that turboed 3rd gen Eclipses. If you look online, you'll find, because some people just love them cars, they had a nostalgic thing about them, you'll find pretty much 3rd gen Eclipse Evos. They have Evo swap, they have pretty much full complete Evo swaps in them, that have full complete GSX, basically Eclipse GSX, which is a 2-door Evo in a sense. You'll see the whole drivetrain, all-wheel drive. People will do anything to any car they have. You can. It doesn't matter what it is. If you have the will and the want to make your car fast, you can make it fast. I never, like, when somebody tells me what their build is, I never, ever, ever downplay their build or downplay the car they want to build. You know what I'm saying? I got a buddy who has an 80s Camry. and it looks like the Toyota, the drift car, the Toyota Cressida, or whatever they call it. I don't know what they call them. There's another name for them. It's like is letters, but it looks like the old Toyota Cressida drift cars, right? And I think it's dope. It's front wheel drive though, but shit is dope. You swap an SR20 motor in that bitch and do your thing. Anything is dope. Every car to me is dope. Like the terminology of fast is subjective. What is fast? It is very subjective and comparable. That's all it is. If you compare this to this, is it fast? No. But shit, if you compare a go-kart, you're not gonna compare a go-kart to a real car, a regular car, right? Like you're not gonna compare a Honda Civic. Shit, I can't even say that because anything can be built. There's all-wheel drive Civics that smoke everything, that are crazy out here right now. That's one of the top street racing cars right now is all-wheel drive Civics because they hook, they're light, and K-swap motors are crazy, right? So, I mean, what are you gonna do? And then you have the boys who have money, and they got these BMW, I think it's the 430s, anything with, I think the 30 series, basically. It's like the 530s, the 430s, or the 420s and the 520s or something like that. And they got the, I forgot what motor they have in them now, the twin turbo, and they're nuts. They're going crazy. You know, there's the BMW guys who are doing this. And I respect that because they're in the same ballpark as me with the comfort. It's a comfort, luxury car, all that. But for me, I'm just not willing to pay for BMW parts. I'm a huge BMW fan. Huge BMW. I'm a huge Audi fan. I'm a huge Benz fan. But I'm not willing to pay for those parts though. For me personally, that's a little out of my price range. Some people say they're not willing to pay for Dodge parts. All right, cool. That might be out your price range. But everybody has with their level of comfortability when it comes to certain cars. They have that. For me, another thing with the Dodge, I had a lot of friends that have Dodges, right? The way I came up on the Scat Pack is because I had a friend who had a Dodge. So that was another like selling point to me. It was like I like having similar cars to friends because whenever you might need backup parts and those things can be helped. Or whenever you have a problem with a car, one of your friends might have had that same problem already. So there's something you guys can, work out together or figure it out whatever. But all in all, it's just, I wish the car community wasn't as toxic when it comes to, and a man shouldn't be saying toxic, but wasn't so like just fuck. Look, there goes a Mazda Miata, bro. Everybody knows you can do with Miatas, but some people hate on them, like, oh, that's such a little car and whatnot. And then, all right, cool, man. Some people don't. I personally, if I could fit in a Mazda Miata, I'd own a Mazda Miata. I've always thought since I was a kid, me and my brother, we both always thought the Mazda Miata was like the dopest car ever. You know what I'm saying? Rear wheel drive, little, handling good, and then enough space in the engine bay to fit a V8 in that mug. What more could you ask for? That's the Mazda Miata is one of the dopest car frames. Maybe not the motor wise. Obviously, people, and I think those motors actually come like rated to turbo. They even have like a oil outlet, extra oil outlet plug on the side of the motors that come with them. But if that motor's not powerful enough, you can swap a V8 into a Mazda Miata, and it has enough room to do it. But I'm just saying, every car can be dope. It just depends on your level of where you're willing to go with it. With that being said, till the next video.